let's get started. This is the fun part. We're going to make a class because we determined that was the group type that Financial Peace University was. We're going to select the template. Now, some of these drop downs will have more choices than others, but you want to select the template to the registration that you're going to be doing. You want your campus. Let's go ahead and select main campus for now. When we expand to multiple campuses, it'll be important which one you select, or all. If your event applies to all, then that would be important too. Now the contact person for the registration will default to the person who is logged in. So if that's not the person who is in charge and needs to be contacted regarding this event, then we just change it and it'll update the email automatically, and we don't really use the phone section. So now we'll just click next. Okay, now we're actually going to put the details in for this specific registration instance. It just says registration up here on the bubble, but think about it as the instance. So we're doing, Financial Peace, and since this is a test, let's just do December 2025. And, registration should have opened on the 2nd, like a month before, and it's going to end, let's say it ends, it's going to be on Monday, so let's have it close the last day at the end of the day. And we don't need a reminder, and we don't have a maximum number of attendees. Now the account, you'll see the red dot, that's a required field. Check with your ministry leader or the finance to know which account to choose. I believe this one's the financial stewardship non-deductible account. And you'll see the public name down here automatically populated, right? So let's just get rid of December 25 and let's just say Financial Peace University. I forgot to put university up here. So this will show up on the buttons. And then the slug. The slug is very important, and it needs to be somewhat descriptive, all lowercase letters, preferably the 4-digit year, because it's just more clear when people see it in the thing. If you say December 25, people might think it would be Christmas Day. So if you stick the little 20 in there, it'll help. The slug goes at the end of the URL. So it'll say mycenterpoint.tv/registration/FPUs-December 2025. The other part that's really important about the slug is it's what will help Rock put the person who registers into the group that's going to be created in a minute. If that slug isn't there, you don't get the person put into the group. Registration instructions. Registration instructions. Back in the documentation for Event Wizard, if you come down here to registration instance, how to use the Event Wizard, which part we're doing right now, I actually have some bright orange reminders what to do here. And there's a bunch of information here about what each of these fields mean, so you can reference that again. But I have some sample instructions down here. There we go. Copy, and then come back over to my template. And on this screen, this is the kind of the what you see is what you get screen, and you can copy and highlight and bold and such like that. That's not the screen I want to be on right now. There's a code editor screen here in the corner. You can toggle this, and now you're seeing the HTML of that screen. So this was a paragraph tag, and that was the gibberish I typed, and that's the end of the paragraph, and this is the next paragraph, and then there's a bold, and then there's the end of the bold and the end of the paragraph. I'm not expecting you to learn HTML. Just delete whatever's there and paste in what we just copied. And you'll see these P's and B's. Those are coding. We made it nice and clean and neat. If I toggle this back over, I can see this other screen. And I can see that it's all formatted very nicely. So I'm going to do, they're going to be December 1 through December, I don't remember. What was the dates? Hold on a second. Let me go find out. 29. and it's going to be in the CP Kids building. It costs $80. Now, putting this when, where, and the cost at the top of the instructions is just really helpful for people to glance at it and go, oh, great. I know what day, I know what time, I know where, how much it's going to cost. I can decide if I'm even going to be able to do this or not. And then you can get into the details. And so that gives you your details. Now, on your reminder details, if you put a reminder at the top, it's helpful just to, you can just copy this and put it here. But you see how the formatting didn't work with the bolds and everything? So I'm going to hit Control Z and that'll undo that. But if I go to the code and I copy this one, and then I go to this code and I paste it in, now I have my formatting very clean and neat again. So it's just a very easy way to control formatting is to use the HTML code sections. Now, reminder details, if you set a reminder date, the code template that will go out, this is information that gets added to that template. And that template's very vague. It just says, hey, remember there's an event coming up. So you want to put the details of when, where, and such. So I just confirmed, and actually the reminder details and the confirmation details that are in the coded template basically only apply to the person's name that got registered and also the amount paid. So you do want to include time and date and location in both the reminder details and the confirmation details, as well as any other messages you want to. The other thing I want to show you on this screen before we move on is there's this bar, this gray bar. I'm clicking my mouse on it and I'm dragging, and I'm actually making this window taller so you can see all of your text. And you can see that each of these sections has a gray bar, so I can make, it's funny, it's making the top of the screen move, but if I scroll back up, I can see everything. So that's just how you work this page. This is a very detailed page, has a lot of information that's very important. Again, any of the red dots is mandatory required. And then you move forward when you are done.